Hello, everyone. Good evening. I had some delays this week, but I am here and I am live, honey. So I'm glad that I made it. Let me tag some people and let them know that I'm here and turn off this volume. Okay. So today's live is all about how to use a holistic protocol when you've taken birth control and you're wanting to heal. We're also going to talk about some natural birth control alternatives that you can use when you're wanting to move away from the pill, once that you've learned, like, oh, maybe this isn't for me. If you've been following my post this week, then you have learned that when you have a bleed on a birth control pill, it is not the same thing as a period. Those are two different, totally different things. Okay. It's not the same thing. So when we're talking about period repair and optimizing our hormones and this whole period repair challenge we've been doing in our group, we're talking about periods that occur because you have ovulated and then you bleed, not the bleeding that happens when you take hormonal birth control pills, which are a drug with synthetic hormone-like pseudo hormones. They are not the hormones that you produce in your human body. Okay. So let's be clear on that. So today is for the women that have realized that this is not the route they want to go. They have either come off birth control or they're considering coming off birth control soon. So maybe that's you. If that's you, I want you to drop a hashtag heal in the comment section. And then while we're talking, if ever you have a question about what I'm presenting, just drop it in the chat. If you're here and you're watching the replay, drop a hashtag replay so that I can come back and talk with you about your insights. So let's jump into it. Welcome, welcome, welcome again to anybody that's live or is catching the replay. I'm really thrilled about this topic. You know, we're going to get into this protocol that's designed to focus on rebalancing your hormones, restoring gut health, replenishing nutrient deficiencies, and promoting overall well-being. So let's dive right in. So this is designed to take place within a 4-month span. Month 1 is about hormone rebalancing. And so here are a few key steps to follow during this first month. Number 1, herbal support. You want to include hormone balancing herbs like maca root, vitex, and dong quai into your routine. And it's really, really crucial to make sure that if you're not sure about this, if you're taking medications, you want to make sure that it's not contraindicated with anything that you're currently taking. The simpler, the better. So even if you start with one herb at a time and really gauge your body's reaction, that's always a good way to pace yourself. Number 2 is having a nutrient-rich diet. So focus on consuming whole foods that support your hormonal balance. That looks like your leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, wild-caught fish, organic poultry, healthy fats like grass-fed butter, avocado, coconut oil. You guys should know if you watch my videos by now, I really love goat butter. And if you're joining me, say hello, hello, hello. I'd love to hear from you. All right. Oh, hey, thank you for joining me, beautiful. And on the other hand, you really want to avoid processed foods like refined sugars and excessive caffeine. You can go back and look at the 7-day challenge videos to see more about that information. Number 3 is stress management. So implement some stress reduction techniques like meditation, deep breathing exercises, yoga, or journaling to support healthy cortisol levels and overall hormonal balance. In the 4th week of that first month, you want to focus on gentle exercise. And if you know me, you know I am a proponent of restorative exercise all day. And Karen can tell you that Qigong is life. So you want to engage in moderate exercise such as walking, yoga, swimming, things that are going to promote blood circulation, support your hormone regulation, and reduce stress. Hey, Kiana, welcome, beautiful. So, we're going to move on to month 2 of this protocol. And in this month, we're going to focus on restoring your gut health because taking birth control can destroy the gut flora, unfortunately. So, in the first week, you want to focus on probiotics. Probiotics, you can incorporate a high quality probiotic supplement. One of my favorites is BIOK. Is very potent. So you might want to start with just like a fourth of a bottle. And one bottle is a dose because once you start taking it, it really does quickly increase the healthy bacteria and flush out the unhealthy bacteria, which is going to flush out a lot of stagnant waste. You want to consume fermented foods like sauerkraut, kefir, and kombucha to replenish that beneficial gut bacteria. You want to eat gut healing foods. So this includes prebiotic fibers like onions, garlic, asparagus, cassava, which I call it yuca, plantain, things that have that resistant starch to nourish your gut microbiome. And then in week 3, you might explore having an elimination diet. And this is where you consider removing some of those common causes of food sensitivities like gluten, conventional cow dairy, and refined sugars for a period of time to see if they are causing you inflammation. And me personally, I have really taken all those foods out of my diet. I do not include them because I just feel like they don't serve me well. And instead of trying to drag out an elimination diet, I just found it simpler to choose foods that I know will feed my hormonal balance well, that are nourishing. So I stick to just a lot of whole foods. I don't really eat grains. And if I have starch, it's a very targeted time of the month. And I use those resistant starches, like your root vegetables, for instance. And the last week of month 2, you want to focus on hydration. So you want to drink plenty of water throughout the day. This is going to support your detoxification and your optimal digestion. It's going to keep you juicy. Like I always say, do you want to be like a raisin or a grape? So, for me, I find that spring water is amazing. That's the highest quality that I found here. I get it locally sourced where there's a spring here in Georgia in the northern mountains that they will collect the spring water and have it delivered to me. So do your research, really see what's going to be the highest quality water that you can source because that quality water does inform the quality of your cellular health. So just think about that, what's going to be the highest quality of water in your area. You definitely don't want to drink purified water. A lot of the times it has added sodium. So if you ever notice that if you drink purified water, you might actually get thirstier. I don't know. Have y'all noticed that? But you might actually get thirstier the more that you drink purified water because a lot of times it has added table salt sodium. So just think about that. And so let's move into month 3 of our protocol. If you're still with me, drop a hashtag month 3 or let me know what part of this protocol has stood out as something you want to go ahead and try out in your life starting next week. In week 1 of month 3, we're going to do blood building foods. This includes iron rich foods like spinach, kale, lentils, grass-fed beef, and these are going to replenish your nutrient stores that may have been depleted by taking the birth control. And so as you see, we're building week by week all these beneficial foods and habits and herbs, and you want to keep them in place. So as you move week to week, if you find you're not able to keep the previous steps in place, go back and just build it step by step. Take your time. There's no rush because you already have the plan. Week 2 of month 3, you're going to focus on essential fatty acids. So you want to consume foods that are rich in omega-3s, such as wild-caught salmon, chia seeds, walnuts, You might even consider supplementing with an omega-3 fish oil to support your hormonal balance and to reduce inflammation. Week 3, we're going to do vitamin and mineral supplementation. So you might want to take a high quality whole foods multivitamin. I really enjoy using like multivitamins that are actually made from herbs. So if you have a question about that, drop it in the chat and I'll make sure to share the link if you're interested to the multivitamin that I use that's strictly made from herbs. You could supplement with magnesium, B vitamins, vitamin D, especially if you have low vitamin D. And you want to keep in mind that you do need to get out and get sunshine without um, sunscreen. Okay, you want to use saturated fat. So I my body butter has tallow, castor oil, ghee, um, and shea butter or cocoa butter in it. And I use those saturated fats on my skin. It actually will be protective to my skin while allowing me to absorb enough sunlight to be able to make vitamin D when I'm out in the sun. So again, if you have a question about that, I do have my favorite body butter supplier. I can leave you the link to purchase from her. She's amazing. Week 4 is herbal infusions. So you want to enjoy herbal teas or infusions made from nourishing herbs like nettle leaf, red raspberry leaf, oat straw, which is my favorite. I absolutely love oat straw. And it will provide some essential vitamins and minerals. Hold on, y'all. Hey. I swear the life of a mama don't stop, won't stop. And thank you for those of y'all that have hung out with me or are hanging out in the replay for sticking around. So let's get back to this wonderful protocol. And so the thing about herbal infusions is they're very different from herbal teas. If you've never dealt with them, they use a higher volume of herb and more water, and you steep them at least 4 hours and ideally overnight. And so that makes the vitamins and minerals that are naturally occurring in these herbal infusions very bioavailable. So it's very easy for your body to absorb them. And then in month 4, we're just going to focus on your holistic well being. That includes self care practices. You really want to optimize your sleep. Make sure that you have over an abundance and emotional support in your life. And this might look like seeking out holistic practitioners, therapy, counseling, support groups. You can use flower essences and homeopathic remedies to address emotional challenges. There's a broad range of support mechanisms we can use for emotional well-being. If you have questions about any of that, please drop a hashtag support and I will reach out directly to you in your DM. And then the last piece of that is just making sure that you have someone that you can check in with on a regular basis. And you do want to measure your progress. So you want to pay attention to where is your gut health? Where is your sleep quality? Are you having cravings? You know, is your hunger stabilized? Any symptoms that were exacerbated once you came off the pill, you want to track those symptoms and make sure that you're progressing. So remember, healing is a gradual process and everybody is an individual. So you really need to listen to your body, be super patient, and really celebrate every positive change that you make along the way. So let's talk about some natural birth control options. For me, it was a big, big, big deal to come off of birth control because it really did a number on me. And I didn't even realize how much this, how much it damaged my body until years down the line when I started researching the effects of hormonal birth control and saw that those things are things that I was dealing with. So for me, what has worked. Oh, good evening, Nisha. Welcome. For me, with natural birth control, I have had to stack different methods instead of relying on just one to work. So you want to stack your methods. You want to use fertility awareness, making sure that you're tracking your cycle each day of the month, knowing exactly where you are, and not just considering your ovulation day as the day in which you are fertile. You want to treat that whole week as your fertile week. Okay. And you want to plan your natural birth control methods around that whole week, not just that day. For me, I also think about the 3 days before my fertile week and the 3 days after my fertile week. And I just assume that I might still be fertile or that sperm might still live on during those days to be safe because I don't want an unintentional pregnancy. So you want to track your signs and symptoms of your menstrual cycle to determine when you're fertile as well. So this can mean taking your body temperature in the morning when you get out of bed and knowing that a slight increase in your body temperature may indicate that you're ovulating. So during the time when you're ovulating and you're in the fertile week, and for me, I use the 3 days before and the 3 days after as a part of my fertile week, you might consider using a barrier method, which might include a non-toxic condom choice. So I will be sharing a list of non-toxic condoms tonight. You'll see that after the live in the chat so that you'll know some options that will not increase your risk of cancers by using them. You want to also pay attention to your cervical mucus. When it's more slippery and stretchy, that indicates fertility. It's almost like egg whites. Otherwise, if it's not slippery, stretchy, and clear, then you're probably not in your fertile period. And then I also will layer that with using neem oil as a natural spermicide if I'm not using a non-toxic condom. So if you're in a relationship where you're choosing not to use a condom during your fertile period, then you could choose to use diluted neem oil. So I will use like just a bit, I'll say a dime size with a quarter size more of a carrier oil like coconut oil. And I will insert that vaginally, make sure it's also coated around the cervix. So you do want to get very familiar with your cervix so that you're comfortable locating it and applying this diluted neem oil, which is a natural spermicide. I also will take neem capsules. So I purchased neem. I'm going to drop the link to the one that I personally use. I use capsules and I will take 2 capsules a day. I usually just take them before bedtime and I take them again. I start 3 days before my fertile week. I take it throughout the whole fertile week and 3 days after my fertile week. I'm not playing no games. Okay. And I'm not going to list off this entire list of non-toxic vegan condoms, but I can say that Glide and Sustain and Hex condoms are pretty reliable. So as you can see, and it's important to note that natural birth control methods do require careful monitoring. You need to be consistent and you are going to develop a greater understanding, connection, and knowledge of your body. To me, it is also an invitation into greater autonomy over your fertility and over your womb than maybe we've ever been invited into. So for me, it was also a very empowering experience. And if you feel unsure, it's okay to reach out to someone who is versed in fertility awareness methods, versed in these methods. I am here if you want that support from me. And just know that this is not the same thing as being on an IUD or taking a birth control pill. This is a totally different approach that requires intention, consistency, and a layering of a multifaceted approach. Do not use one without the other, or this particular method doesn't work. You need all of the spokes on the wheel for this wheel to turn and for you not to run into unintended consequences. For instance, let's say that you have sex during your fertile week and you take the neem capsules, but you do not use the oil, you may run into an issue. So each part is intentionally put into this plan. I want you just, if you're considering this, to make sure you fully understand this method that you're committed to tracking and monitoring, that you have open communication with your partner about your fertility intentions. Okay. Again, if you need support, drop a hashtag support. I'm here to talk to you. That brings us to the end of this session. So I hope that you found some helpful information from this holistic healing protocol. You have the power to support your body's natural healing process. Take care of yourself. Be gentle with your body as you go on this journey. I really, again, thank you. Thank you for joining me today. And I look forward to seeing you next week. I have left a poll to see what you guys want to hear about next week. I was thinking about either how to heal fibroids in endometriosis or how to reduce unwanted belly fat and reduce cortisol levels. So drop your vote in that poll. Let me know if you have found this helpful. If you find my videos helpful, just know that I am available to work with you either in group or a one-to-one setting. If you're curious about what that looks like, send me a message directly or again, drop a hashtag support. Hope you have a good weekend and I'll talk to you guys next week.